This is a 2005 Land Rover LR3, and in this video I'm going to show you what you need to know to do a spark plug change. The spark plugs I'm using are NGKs, and they are model number IFR5N10. They should come pre-gapped at 0.04 of an inch or 1 millimeter. I'll put a link in the description on where you can pick these guys up, as well as all the tools that I'll be using. These are the tools you'll need: a Phillips head screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, a plastic pry bar preferably, or you can use the flathead screwdriver, a 6 millimeter deep socket or a shallow with an extension, an 8 millimeter socket and a 1/4 inch drive ratchet, a set of feeler gauges, 3/8 drive torque wrench that'll get down to 18 foot-pounds, a normal 3/8 drive ratchet, a 5/8 spark plug wrench. This is the kind with the little rubber grommet in there. A normal 5/8 socket, a universal joint, and a 3-inch extension for the 3/8 drive ratchet. To get to the plugs, we need to remove the engine cover. It is held on by 4 6 millimeter captured screws. To get to these guys, we need a deep socket to get down in there, or a shallow with an extension. After you've loosened up all the screws, remove the oil filler cap, and then pull the engine cover out of the way. I'm in the middle of doing a fuel injector service, so I've got some brackets that are missing, some electrical connectors that are disconnected, some hoses that are disconnected. So mine's going to look a little bit different than yours is. To get access to the plugs on this side of the engine, we need to remove the resonator. To remove the resonator, we need to loosen up these clamps with a flathead screwdriver. Squish them this way and then pop them up. If you have any difficulty doing that, you can remove the mass airflow sensor electrical connector, loosen up the captured screws with a Phillips head screwdriver, and then take the airbox cover off. I'm also going to remove this tube just so you can see what's going on. You don't need to remove this to get access to the plugs. We need to remove the PCV valve. This is held on by 2 8 millimeter screws, and there is one hose. It's a squeeze and disconnect. So you squeeze it like that and then pull it off. There's one more cover to take off. I'm going to use my plastic pry bar, get underneath and pop him off. Yours may be a little bit more difficult to pop off. There is a bracket here that holds these hoses. You can either try and remove that screwdriver, it's a Phillips head, and get the bracket out of the way, or release the clips that hold the bracket, hold it to the bracket. Chances are, if your LR3 is as old as mine is, those clips are just going to break, and that's what mine's done. So I can get that out of the way. And now we can start accessing the coil packs. Each coil pack is held on by one 8 millimeter screw, and there is one electrical connector. Because of the space that it's in, it's really hard to get that electrical connector off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push down the tab, and then using my upholstery tool, I'm going to pry the electrical connector off. With that electrical connector disconnected, I can now remove the screw and then pull out the coil pack. To get the spark plug out, I'm going to use a 5/8 spark plug socket. That's the type that has the rubber grommet in it, a universal joint, and a 3-inch extension. And that should get you just proud of the valve cover, so you can easily pull out the spark plugs. Okay, there's our old plug. The new plugs should come pre-gapped at 0.04 of an inch or 1 millimeter. You can check it to make sure with your feeler gauge, and I am good. To put the new plug in, I'm going to use my spark plug socket. I'm just going to gently put him in there a little bit, not too hard. Feed him in there, and then get them started with my hand. I'm now going to switch to a normal 5/8 socket because I don't want to have the spark plug socket stuck on the end of that, get them stuck on the end of that plug and then not be able to get that socket out if I tighten it up, because sometimes those rubber grommets on the inside, they get a little grippy and they don't want to come off the plug. Using a 3/8 inch torque wrench, we're going to torque down the plug to 18 foot-pounds. Slide the coil pack back on. And before I put it all the way in, I'm going to stick the electrical connector on it, slide it on, and then I'm going to put the 8mm screw back on there. All 4 spark plugs on this side of the engine are easily accessed with the universal joint and 3-inch extension. There's no difficulty on this side except for the rear plug is the electrical connector is a little hard to get to, and when you're putting the coil in and out, you want to go from behind these hoses instead of trying to squish from this side. So pull that back and then go in that way. Something also to note, when you're using a torque wrench with the universal extension, if you're torquing at this angle, your torque settings will be messed up. But if you are within, I believe it's 15 degrees, the torque setting, the change on that torque setting is negligible, so you'll be okay using a universal joint in this situation. I'm going to finish up with the 4 plugs on this side. They're all identical, all easy. I'm going to put the PCV valve back on and the resonator back in, and then I'll meet you on the other side. This side of the engine is very easy. We just need to remove the oil filler tube. There is a tab at the bottom of it that we use a flathead screwdriver, pry it up, and then twist it out. We'll take our plastic pry bar, go underneath, pop this guy off. Now you have access to all 4 plugs on this side of the engine. They are all removed using the universal joint with 3-inch extension and the 5/8 spark plug socket. The only complication is the guy in the back. This heat shield interferes when you're pulling the coil plug out and putting it back in, so you got to smush that heat shield back a little bit. Other than that, all very easy. And there you go, we've got all 8 plugs done. They're all identical, all very easy. This is not a hard job to do. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to help you out. If you have any comments on how to do the job better, please leave those in the comments as well. Have a great day.